You are listening to a TechSide Network podcast, TechSide.net, casual conversation from technically passionate people.
This is Americanitis, Episode 10, The Cardinal Value of Purpose, for March 7th, 2020. I'm your host, Daniel Sagner. This podcast contains harsh language and covers adult topics. You'll be challenged by views with which you do not agree. We may not be politically correct, but we are correct about politics. Quote, "To live, man must hold three things as the supreme and ruling values of his life: reason, purpose, self-esteem. Reason as his only tool of knowledge, purpose as his choice of the happiness which that tool must proceed to achieve, self-esteem as his inviolate certainty that his mind is competent to think and his person is worthy of happiness, which means is worthy of living." Unquote. Today, I will focus on purpose. When I say that I will die at my desk, this value is what I'm really talking about. I don't mean that I'll stay chained at my job until they need to wheel me away out of some sense of duty. I mean that I will never stop working on something. I mean that if I retire, I'll take up swimming or writing or chess, but whatever it is, I will be applying my full faculties to it. I mean that I will always have a purpose in everything that I do. One cannot live as a human being without purpose. A ship is safe in harbor, but that is not what ships are for. In my last cast, I spoke of reason and why it was important. Now it's time to put it to use. Reason is the engine of your life, but purpose grips the wheel. Purpose is that which gives all other values meaning, gives them a context, sorts them in a hierarchy. What is purpose? Purpose is one's long-term intention or objective. It is a focus, a lens through which you see your life and your actions. This is distinct from a goal-directed action. If a bird is hungry and therefore eats a worm, that is a goal-directed action, not a purpose. Even single-celled life forms engage in this. But only man has purpose. Purpose is a clear point of light in the distance. It allows you to make decisions for your long-term self-interest. It clarifies which things you should value and how much you should value them. Purpose is the thing to which you devote your efforts. A central purpose is deeply personal. It will likely change throughout your life. It may or may not have a terminus, by which I mean you may never reach the end of the road. If your purpose is to be a veterinarian, there really isn't a stopping point where you say, "Look, I did it, I'm done." Becoming a vet is one step on that road, an important one, but you don't stop there. You go on to practice that science and continually learn and improve. Some purposes do have a terminus. If it is your purpose to write the definitive book on gardening, that clearly has a stopping point. When you have written the book, you have achieved your purpose. If you do reach the end of your purpose-driven road, then it is important to choose a new purpose, as we shall see. It is also possible to have multiple purposes. My purposes are to create this podcast and therefore gain a better understanding of my philosophy, to apply my knowledge in the technology field, and to be an excellent father. If you have multiple purposes, it is very important to acknowledge which is primary and which are secondary or tertiary. In my case, father, tech, podcast. How does one find their purpose? Well, there's no magic solution here, no oracle to entreat upon, no shortcuts. In general, your purpose is found in that in which you are interested. Depending on your age and your life experience, this may not be an easy thing to answer. It is common for those leaving high school to feel rudderless, unsure, disinterested. If this is where you find yourself, I would not suggest immediately enrolling in university, but instead taking a few years to gain experience in the world. To speak of myself, I found my interest in technology early on, but I didn't realize that I enjoyed the business side of it until I took a job at Staples. I excitedly spoke about printers and laptops and was later promoted to the technician's desk. Now I manage an IT infrastructure for about 40 small firms. Think back to something you enjoyed as a child. Can this be made into a career? Can you create a business or a product from it? What productive work orbits that interest? This is fertile ground for a central purpose. But why is it important to have a purpose? Having a purpose guides your life and defines your value hierarchy. Let's unpack that. You can value many things: your life, your home, the food you prefer, your children, your pet, promotion at work, relaxation, etc. Which ones are more important? Which ones have to wait or be abandoned? Your purpose makes this clear. You may have had dogs your whole childhood, but you decide that you cannot take on that responsibility while attending medical school. You could want to eat your favorite food every day, but that can't square up with your desire to be a bodybuilder. You may desperately want children, but you realize that you need a solid roof over your head, and you wait until you are more financially stable. Purpose makes these things clear in your mind. It allows you to quickly establish which things are important to you and which are not. Quote, "A central purpose serves to integrate all other concerns of a man's life. It establishes the hierarchy, the relative importance of his values. It saves him from pointless inner conflicts. It permits him to enjoy life on a wide scale and to carry that enjoyment into any area open to his mind." Unquote. What happens if we ignore this value? You ignore having a purpose at your own peril. Quote, "A man without a purpose is lost in chaos. He does not know what his values are. He does not know how to judge. He cannot tell what is or is not important to him, and therefore he drifts helplessly at the mercy of any chance stimulus or any whim of the moment. He can enjoy nothing. He spends his life searching for some value which he will never find." Unquote. A ship set adrift at the mercy of the winds and tides. A car with the driver fast asleep at the wheel. A somnambulist's direction given to the most precious thing imaginable: your very life. To leave your life, your happiness, to chance is to shirk the responsibility of living. Additionally, as man is not solely a mind or a body, not a ghost nor a zombie, purpose is inextricably tied to productiveness. It is productive work that sustains man's life, both physically and spiritually. But what work a man chooses defines his life. If you have never given much thought to your purpose, you are doing yourself a great disservice. If reason is the engine, purpose the driver, the self-esteem remains. Tune in for the next in this series as I explain how it is both the fuel for your life and the reward for living a good one. If you would like me to cover a specific topic, or if you have feedback, I can be reached on Twitter at AmericanitisTech, that's the @ American, ITISTEK, or at americanitis@techside.net. Please subscribe to the show on Apple Podcasts or Google Podcasts, and take the time to leave us a review and comment. We have a Patreon page that enables you to support the podcast for as little as $1 a month at patreon.com/techside. Show notes are available at techside.net/Americanitis. Outro music is Crying in the Delta Wind by Mother Pluckin' Bee. We thank you all for listening. Later days.